Hey, wow. Okay. Can you see me? Can you see me, Yunus?
I can see you and
Okay.
I can hear you loud
And
and
you can
clear.
hear me loud and clear. Yeah. Hello mbokk yi maa ngi leen di nuyu yéen ñëpp seen tur ak seen sant di leen ziar bu baax a baax comme ni ma ko dee defee rek saa su ne tey suma gan bi nag gis ngeen ko muy Yunus Hydara tey nag dina neex parce que bala maa ñëw sax dafa am ku ma kool ne ma ne yow sa interview bi dafa nga ko defee ak Yunus Hydara parce que Yunus déggul olof so it's gonna be one tough one ma ne ko dina métti parce que man fàttali ko dégguma English te Yunus déggul olof so dina métti xanaa ñu mix and blend ko rek because suma viewers yi nga xam ne ñoom
Dama dee
olof
dégg olof so waaye te man tam
Yunus
damay try. So
Yunus xaalalagum because li ma soo bëggee dégg soo xamee li ma respond kooku du la nee ma ne ko anyway fa naa ne Yunus dégg na olof because ma dama ko dee làkk olof but he's a lazy Wolof responder that he respond in a very lazy.
you're right.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a mix and blend because comme ni ma ko waxee rek kële toog si beneen corner bi he speaks English very well and man mu nekk si beneen corner bi I speak Wolof very well man dégguma English moom déggul Wolof kon tey dina ne so we're gonna mix and blend it until we get get it there. Welcome on board, Yunus. Thanks for coming at a very short notice. I really appreciate it. Even though you're not feeling well. But hey, I'm very honored to have you here, sitting here today, because there's a lot of stuff going on around Yunus Hydra lately. But before we get to that, let's get to the best part of why I really want you on this platform today. I'll give you this opportunity for starters to say hi to my viewers, and yeah, we'll take it from there. Hey,
Thank you
Angeles.
very much, Fatma Rahman Koka, for the invitation. I think it's a great time for me to have the opportunity to speak to the people. Like you said, there's noise about around Yunus Hydra at the moment. So I was actually thinking I would do a Facebook Live where questions can come. I was thinking that, and then you reached out. So I appreciate you reaching out and giving me the opportunity, and I am greeting your audience. I look forward to a fruitful discussion here today. Thank you.
Definitely. Why not? Even though crying up will bluff my tooth and I'm, oh, I am sick and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, hey, don't give me that.
I
Even
love
if you're sick.
you.
Anyway, like I said, thanks very much. Look at Kasasi say one of, come on. Oh yeah, I was expecting to see Kasa here anyway. Miss Yellow, she said, okay, if you guys can't speak Wolof and English, why don't you guys speak French? All right, you know, ça va? Comment ça va? Comment allez-vous?
Ça va bien, très bien.
Oh, ok.
Comment
Tu
tu
parles
t'appelles?
français? Tu parles français beaucoup? Oh, petit.
I came out from Paris yesterday and I picked up some chatting points.
Okay. But, you know, definitely, like I said, my mom is my best supporter, and she watches most of the things that I do on Facebook to like she kind of monitors me, and she's my support system, and I can tell you she has listened to 90% of the stuff that I have done on Facebook, and I would love for her to be able to listen to this today because she can't speak English properly. She speaks her own kind of English in her own way. So if we kind of like try and like all of them, do for tutti. So got to time at the same time that will help me that people will not see where I'm going wrong with my English, with my crooked English. So you know, so try and get all of this in here. Anyway, Eunice,
I see what I can do. Uh-huh.
my first question is I think it's basic and standard. Everyone known me for asking that as a first question. Tell us who is Yunus Hydara and give us a little bit of a background of you, like education, you know, achievements. You know, I know the achievement will take us 15, 20 minutes because you have a list, I'm sure. All right.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. My name is Yunus Hydra. Um, Friends call me Parboy. That's because I was named after my mom's dad. So my mom called me Parboy. So I was also known with that name. I was born and raised in Brikama, I studied my primary and junior school in Brikama, and then I went to Gambia High School, where I did my high school, and then later traveled to the United Kingdom. And while I'm here, I studied economics at the Kensington College in London, economics and business management. Then later on, I decided to go into the scientific and the medical side of the story. So I did biomedical biochemistry undergraduate, and then I did my master's in drug discovery, which is drug research, pharmaceutical research. So I did that here in Edinburgh, and yeah, I live here and I work at Lloyd's Bank. I also work as a pharmacokinetics in a pharmaceutical company here in Edinburgh. So I think that's about it, though.
Wow.
It's not.
Okay. Loolu leer na. Mooy banque bi nga xam ne moom la ñëpp di wax ne Yunus dafa xajaane liggéey ca banque ba. Ah? Tey mu
No,
neex.
I've been doing that for during the course of my studies, so
Yeah.
I just decided to keep it on the side just for extra income.
Okay, so what are you trying to tell me? You're loaded, doctor plus banker. Yunus, come on, now I can see, now I can see. Anyway, yeah, Yunus, you are one active person on social media, and if I want to be truthful to myself, I would say you're a public figure. The Gambians would call you a celebrity because we call all public figures celebrities, and you know what I mean. So a lot of people look up to you, and you have been doing a lot of great towards the community and stuff. And yeah, let's talk about that. When did you get involved in charitable stuff, and what inspired you? Why? Especially, we saw you with this Mafuji thing. So let's talk a little bit about that before we go deep down into, what's trending now.
All right. I wouldn't praise myself in any way, but I believe that I'm a very compassionate person.
Mm,
Um, I I want the best for every Gambian. And
mhm,
when I go to Gambia, the way I see people living, I believe it's disheartening, and no one should live like that in this 21st century. People should be able to provide at least basic necessities for their families. And if I have the money, I would do it for everybody. But I don't have it. Maybe somewhere in the future I'll be more involved by investing my own money in helping people. But the little that I can do, I try to do. So it started with Mafuji. Well, I did other ones, but they're not up to the magnitude of Mafuji's story. But Mafuji, I saw him in the on the TRRC, and I immediately felt like a connection there, and I see in his face that he is a very innocent man, and he is a destitute. He's a very likable person. He's the kind of person who would step out of his misery to make someone smile, give someone a good day, basically, and thinking about his condition. And it was his birthday, and also
yeah.
I sat down and I was like, this guy, I can swear that this guy has never celebrated a birthday in his life.
His life, yeah.
So all that was just so it kind of eventually I was like, let me do it, even though it's kind of a challenge to set up a GoFundMe campaign, but thankfully people responded generously, and Gambians decent, well-meaning and generous people, so they recognized that it's a valid campaign and they helped out, and thankfully he's got a pretty much a good amount of money, and Esa Falcom, the good guy that he is, gave him a plot of land, and Mahfouz is currently working to have a home for himself and his family. And I believe that is very great. At the point that Mahfouzi came, I listened to his story. So far, I believe that he was the most innocent victim that's appeared on the TRRC, because all the other victims that's appeared prior to Mahfouzi were military officers and politicians who were custodians of the institutions that's failed us. Because what the reason why Jammeh succeeded was policy and institutional failure. And for them being the custodians of these institutions, they cannot be entirely absolved from what happened. I don't say what happened to them they deserved. I don't think they deserve any punishment at all. But I believe that they have failed on their job and they have failed the Gambian people. So Mahfouz at the time was the man that I deserved it, so I did it.
Wow. Did you expected the response that you got from people? Did you expected it before you started?
I didn't expect that much though, but the humor that Mahfouz put in there, talking about Tinky Tanker, and I think Watson Gambia shared that point, and people find them very funny, and that made him, more likable person. And while they're doing that, I was also intensifying the campaign and putting it everywhere on social media. And eventually, everyone who liked him put something for him. It's great.
Okay. Let's talk about politics, but before we go deep into that, I want to ask you about what is your take during the Jammeh time and now, and what is your struggle, and what was your participation during the struggle? Everybody said struggle. It keeps saying struggle, struggle, struggle. So, what is your take?
During the struggle, I started first participating in the background, doing little things, like not because I was scared, but because I believe I'm a pretty brave guy when it comes to these social media. But I didn't have the confidence in me then to be talking directly to the public and writing. So I did what I can in the down low, but eventually, as these atrocities continue to happen, it just triggered that in my conscience to start talking publicly about Yahya Jammeh. So what I used to talk on Fatu Network. I used to go on the vote that we have on the night time. We talk about issues on there. We talk about the human rights violations. I also had a show, a health show on Fatu Network, where I talk about different diseases that that people have in Gambia. So every kind of week or two, I come with a particular disease and discuss it, because I believe the best way to the global strategy for is disease prevention. That if you prevent it in the first place, you won't have to go to the hospital. And considering the state of our hospital, I don't think anyone should go there. So I thought educating the people about this disease, the mechanisms and everything about them, would help them to prevent it better. So while I'm doing that, I'm also challenging Jammeh on the health side of the story, how the healthcare system is failing our people, and how Yahya Jammeh is misplacing the priority on the healthcare, like spending money on the political jamborees, birthday parties, and these other trivial things, while our hospitals remain ill-equipped and unresourced, and while people are dying. So I was advocating along those lines. And as usual, I was using my Facebook and Twitter to also tweet to various international communities about things that are happening. So apart from that, talking on the Fata Network, Facebook, and Twitter, I didn't take a firm commitment because I was doing my university. I didn't have time. I was going through my undergraduate degree, and I was also working full time to meet the financial commitments. So I didn't become part of these institutions that we've created here in the diaspora, but I became affiliated to them where I can help where I can. So I worked with Duga DC.
Yeah.
We used to have like conference calls and discuss issues. And at one time, I remember I set out like a standing order. Duga was supporting the April 10th, 11 victims in Senegal, and I was donating to them every month. That was going. But I think my contribution was more valuable, was very much valuable to me when I started to affiliate with GDF, who were doing rigorous fundraising to help our coalition government. So we advocated for them to come together, and when they came together, we were raising funds, and I was the agent for them here in the United Kingdom. And so people were giving me money, I gave it to them, and I appreciated it. Yeah, eventually we raised a significant amount of money, and we gave the coalition people, and we campaigned for them on social media, and they eventually won, and change came. So when that happened, some people stopped, but I believe we shouldn't stop there. We didn't just remove Yaya Jammeh, we fought to remove Yaya Jammeh and everything that he stood for. So for that reason, I kept that critical stance on Barrow and his government. That happened till now. Yeah, I guess.
I'll come to that. I'll come to that later. But what do you have to say to people that keep saying it? We miss that Yunus Hydara that used to talk about stuff like in the medical field, and now he's so into this political stuff. You have abandoned what you started with. You know, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I know. Many people have reached out to me to tell me to get that started, that I shouldn't have stopped it because they were benefiting from it. But for me, that show was more valuable for people in Gambia than here. Here we all have access to good healthcare facility, but in Gambia people don't. So I one time decided to start the program again. I spoke to Fatu Network, and she said the platform is still there.
Yeah.
And what I also tried to do, I spoke to Star FM in Gambia.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I want this show will be more beneficial to people on the ground. So what I suggested to Star FM is I want to do it simultaneously, where I'll be doing it through Fata Network, but it will also be aired in the Gambia. So they agreed, and I was thrilled. I was like, I'm about to start the program. It would be aired on Fata Network, and it also will be aired on Star FM, where the people who need the information most will get access to it. Because I'll be talking about it in English and local languages. I'll also be inviting doctors to come and speak to them.
Yeah.
But Star FM gave me their word, but then later they just declined it for no reason. They never really got back to me after they said yes to me, and they were basically looking about what time I can be doing the show. So they didn't get me. So what I thought at the time was, I said, because I've been very critical of the government at the early stage, and in my shows, I usually don't really leave the government out of it because I like to put them to task as well to work and fix the healthcare system. So at the time, that's what I thought. Maybe they've done a research of some of the things that I talk about, and at that time, the government was young. That probably is the reason why they they didn't do it. So they changed their mind. So from then, I kind of
Is that
just
you
lost.
assuming? Is that you assuming,
That's an
or
assumption, yes.
as an
But to
assumption?
date,
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know the reason because they never got back to me.
Mm.
Even though we've agreed to do the program, but later on they didn't really get back. I tried to contact them, they didn't. So for me, the motivation really was for the people on the ground because they need it most. And because I'm thinking I'll be around the end of the year. I'll be going to Gambia where I'll be working at the MRC, and while I'm there, I would be approaching other platforms, media platforms. If they give me the opportunity, I'll bring the show back on their platform and continue to discuss these issues.
Okay. Having said what you just said, yeah, I would like to talk about it a little bit. It is very sad that when people talk about politics or are against the government, whatever door that you knock, people will just close it down, thinking that, all right, we don't want to. And that is very unfair because, I mean, you could have been very useful to whatever you wanted to go and do there or useful to society, but they will reject it just based on the stuff that you talk about criticizing government. I think we should talk about that
I'm
more.
not saying
Very
that's
sad.
exactly it, but
Yeah, I know what you
sure
mean.
that's
Yeah,
why.
but
But
yeah.
the problem is that's not just that. Not because the people who are supposed to benefit from that discussion has
Mm,
not benefited, but this is the reason why our political space, no one likes to get involved in politics, especially people who have put themselves through higher education. They've worked hard, they paid a huge amount of tuition fees, they
mm,
want to earn something from that.
mm.
But if that's it, so they all have to take this neutral position because they don't want to be labeled and be stereotyped in the sense that they wouldn't contribute to society. So that opens the political space only for people like Barrow.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So are we gonna see you, like you said you're gonna be doing that very soon, but are we gonna see you on Facebook doing that same thing, be in the medical field again, talking about stuff that will educate us because we really need that more than this political stuff. Because I think everybody's doing politics nowadays. Why don't we, we have ignored
Well, we
the
can
stuff
do
that,
politics, but we can also
yeah.
do things.
But
For
I
me,
think,
I would have my job, my
to be
full-time
honest,
job, but I would do other things on the side,
yeah, Eunice,
and this will
to
be
be
one of
honest,
them.
yeah, to be honest, Eunice,
Huh?
don't you think 70% or 80% of our people nowadays talk more on politics than stuff that affects society or stuff that can help develop a nation and stuff like that? Don't you think so?
Politics is important,
Mm,
and I don't think it's wrong for people to be involved because our democracy is weak, and the cure to what ails our democracy is more and greater engagement of our citizens, not less. So people can do that. It's just that the perception, the way we do it, that's not. I don't think that's right because we characterize and stereotype each other and deprive. It creates so much division and kind of can say a little bit of hate. I don't think that is good. But we can be able to have a political opinion, join a political parties is part of our constitutional rights, and but it should not stop us from going to apply for a job that you are qualified for and get the job, and your political affiliation doesn't stop you from getting the job.
mm,
You should be treated because we are all citizens first. We should all be treated fairly and equally. Um, Whatever your opinion is your opinion. If you hold those opinions, you can express them. That's a universal right for every citizen have a freedom of expression.
mm.
So we don't do it in a way that is civilized, I would say.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yes, I think we're new to it. I think, first of all, we're new to
Yeah.
it. and we have to thank Jammeh. There's one thing we have to thank Jammeh for. That's we have to thank him for living, and this him living actually triggers everyone, like the fearlessness in us, and how we never knew. Some of us are that this open because everybody was like living in fear. We didn't really want to say much. We didn't want to criticize anyone. We don't want to talk because everybody was watching their back. And now that he's gone, we have to thank him for that because at least he has exposed us to democracy. He has
Yeah.
exposed us to freedom of speech, even though I think we're still climbing the ladder when it comes to those two, because people, I want to believe that people are still struggling with democracy and freedom of speech because people go over the board most of the times, especially when you look at what's going on Facebook. People do go over the board. And I think we're going to talk about that because I think he went over the board a little bit. But anyway, before we get to that, um, you've been in the medical field and the Barrow government. What is your take with this? Because I really want you to talk about more the medical field than asking you about the Barrow government. Because let me ask you based on your field. What do you think they should do for us, and what can they do differently? And is there still a chance for him to pick it up?
Right. Well, my field is actually the scientific. I can't say I'm a scientist, but nevertheless, this is related to that, so I can have an opinion in it. Our medical field has been failing our people, and it's like the people that are there have no clue how to fix it. In the Gambia today, if you have certain disease and you cannot travel abroad, you don't have money to travel abroad to get treatment, the chances are that you would die. That is very, very sad in this 21st century. Everyone should have access to basic health care at least. The government, Barrow government, I've seen they've increased the healthcare budget from about 750 million to $1 billion. So they've added $250,000 to it. But I didn't really see any significant change to it. So it comes down to one thing I keep wondering. If we are spending $1 billion to sustain the appalling standards that it currently is, then is it even worth that much? Our people don't really have any strategy to fix it. I've seen the new healthcare minister. He's very humble. I've seen that the last time I saw a picture of him traveling on a commercial flight, sitting at the where riffraff like me sits.
And me.
So, so that is really good to see, because even permanent secretaries are all, not just ministers, but permanent secretaries are all flying on first class, and I think that's ridiculous for a country like Gambia. So, but even though he's making that sacrifice, I've still not seen anything. When Dr. Toure was there before him, and I've heard Dr. Toure when he was doing a political campaign, and they went on a Meet the Farmers tour. And what she said there was that 40% of all the projects in Barrow's National Development Plan are in healthcare. But she never elaborated what projects, and we are yet to see any project happening. So it's really sad that our people, again, it comes down to politics, because I've seen doctors, very professional, who has vast knowledge to help in how to design our healthcare infrastructure, but they don't even consider having working with them because of probably politics. And our people somehow also get intimidated by people with knowledge. But that is really sad. If you don't know, at least be someone who can listen. Nobody knows all. If even like whoever you put in there would need support of other intellectuals who know the problem, and they design it. It has to be designed, and it has to be holistic. Our healthcare system, first of all, they have to digitalize it, where everyone will have a number, where they'll have a computer-based system where everyone will have their medical record. If that's the basic. If you have the medical record of individuals, you will be able to generate data to create statistics, and that would help you to invest your limited resources wisely. But if there is no statistics, you wouldn't really be able to identify key areas where resources should go. And we don't do that. We just spend out of the blue, where you say you go and buy medicine, you go and do this, and we have in allegations that some of these get even stolen. But if we have a digitalized system, we can generate data, we can evaluate policies, and evaluate to see how these policies are, how effective they are, because we were generating data. And so everyone, your health record, when they come, they punch in your number, they know exactly who you are, where you live, and what condition you had in the past, and that will give them more ideas. And they should work with the university and to really strengthen the way that our people, doctors and nurses and midwives, get trained, the education system, how they get selected, because our people think if you have A grades, that means you are smart and you can be a doctor. It's not like that. You have to be passionate in it. So they have to also identify people who are selfless. Like for me, if I want to be a doctor, I would show to the university that I didn't only get the grades, but I've also sacrificed. I've worked in the hospital, volunteering, even cleaning or dressing wounds and stuff like that. That gives you a clue that if this is really the job that you want to do. So they should look all into this, and they should also try to provide specialization for people. Some people can become cardiologists. Some people can specialize in different areas, neurosurgeons, orthopedics. So we have specialists. Like if you have a problem, they refer you to someone who only knows that, and he'll be able to treat you. So, and also I believe some of our hospitals, for now, the strategy should be mainly enhancing the primary health care, which is working with people on the grassroots, train first aiders, trained people who would do risk assessments. They would go into people's homes, places, and teach them how they can live in a way that is risk-free. Gambia should have policies like that to get people to be able to live in an environment where their lives are not constantly at risk. Because right now, life is only being saved in Gambia by coincidence. There is no strategy there to preserve life, because our people believe in predestination. Islam said, whatever going to happen to you will happen to you. It's inevitable.
Regardless.
It can't be avoided. And this is a very, very dangerous statement, if you ask me, because I believe if we think ahead, we think safety and precautions, we would prevent a lot of death that we are seeing here on the roads, childbirth, cancer, and all these things. We'll be able to prevent it. Because in the West, that's what happened. When the healthcare system advanced, life expectancy here also increased. Now people can live, the average person lives in the UK like 80 years. That's because of they have better healthcare. So if we have better healthcare, we would have more time with our loved ones. We would not just be losing our loved one left, right, and center. And when people die, the first thing we think about is how to pray for them and for their timely burial.
Okay. All right, my people, I present to you Yunus Hydara. See, there, that is the Yunus Hydara that we are craving for and we want to see more of. Why don't you spend more of your time talking about these things rather than this political stuff? Because we need you on that scene anyway. And, Yunus, do you think we have one problem? And you met, and on the plane, and he was sitting where me and you would sit. And can you
Can
hear
you
me?
start again? Because I wasn't hearing you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can now. Yeah.
All right. Do we have one problem as a nation in the Gambia. We never call people out for the areas that they are failing or they are not handling well. Like for instance, we always go for that person that we always say, all right, he is very humble, he is decent, and he's a good guy. He's from a very good family background and stuff like that. But we never call them out. Like for instance, you mentioned that you met this minister on the flight, the health minister or whoever you met on the flight, and he was sitting where you and me would sit on a plane. And you see that you notice that, but we don't really come out and hit hard on him on the area that he's walking. Like, don't you think that is a problem for us, Eunice? Because we don't call these people out just because he is a very nice guy. He's humble and stuff like that. How about the task he was set out to do? He's not doing it. We have to call them out. But we see less
Well,
people.
I think over the years the bar has been lowered to that standard. For example, one time I saw Barrow when he first became president. All he did was talk to people with respect, the old people.
And everybody
He
was happy.
talked to them nicely, and social media was exploded with excitement. I was like, really, is this how the standard really is? Like this is what everyone should talk to everyone, especially the elderly. But because probably Ajama used to talk the way Ajama used to talk to them, but we should really look at the substance, because that's where someone can make a difference. We have very weak institutions in Gambia, and institutions are what can regulate. We cannot. Our country, like people, we get governed by the instincts of whoever is our president, by the whims and caprices of who leads us. So that's how. So that's what people really focus on, the traits of that individual, like who he is. Is he humble? Is he compassionate? Is he? But if we have strong institutions, people won't have, whoever we have there would not really have the power and the authority to inflict anything. Like everything that they do will be within the rule of law. So that's why I always engage the people. Now that we are yet to have the institutions, and I doesn't look like we'll have the institutions, probably not in our lifetimes. So the people has more obligation to engage our government, and we are lucky that social media has proliferated to give everyone a voice. Everyone has their own little TV station. So we should all work to hold them accountable. For me, our people can be partisan in things sometimes, over partisan, but I believe we can play the politics as much as we want. But there are things that we must speak with one voice. We must condemn in one voice, which is corruption, nepotism, violation of the rule of law. And those things, we should not compromise on it. Even if it's your father who's the president or your mother, if they are violating the rule of law, you should openly denounce it. So we will get there, though. We are engaging each other in this endeavor, and I think we'll get there eventually.
Okay, now let's talk politics. Okay, do you see yourself as a politician? Wait a minute, we are all politicians anyway. A lot of people don't want to accept it, but I think we are all politicians. I am a politician based on, if I want something from you today, I'm going to have to come and sell my product to you. And I'll have to sweet talk you because I will want you to come on board. So I just hate when people say, keep politician. We are all politicians, my people.
I see that.
Depends.
Everyone is a politician in Gambia.
Everyone.
I am surprised how everyone
people don't want to accept that.
Tactically like if sometimes I know when someone's calling me,
Yeah.
I know that this person has first of all thought about the strategy before they
Yes.
dial my number. They have thought about the strategy to get what they want, and I get it all the time. I just laugh and say, you know what? I don't
You
talk about
see?
these things, but
You
everyone
see?
is like that.
So
Yeah.
I want us to change our mindsets and start thinking another, the other direction. We are all politicians, but it depends. It depends. Now, do you see yourself as the other politician, not my kind of politician, the other politician? Do you see yourself as a politician, Eunice?
Over the years, I must admit, over the years, I always, when I was always engaging Yaya Jame all the time, I started to develop interest in politics because, and people can see it in me because if you are pointing out someone's faults, you're basically implying that you know what was right. So people put you in that light anyway. So gradually politics got into me because I can remember one time at uni, I was sitting with my friends and I was considering to apply for a PhD program to do that PhD. I was considering whether to do it or not. One of my friends was sitting down and he said, Yunus, I think you should do what is constantly on your mind. I was like, what is that? He said, I see your Facebook, I see what you talk about every day, and that's politics. If that's where
Yeah.
your passion is, you should go in. But I didn't really had any interest, even though I enjoyed. I was a political pundit commenting on issues. But I was eventually, I decided if you want real change, Eunice, sitting on the side, on the fence, constantly rambling about things that happen, you can join a party of your choice and be part of that process to make the change. So I decided after a significant period of consideration to get into politics. And now I'm in it, see where it takes me. But right now, what I see is I would really want to effect change in that country. Uh, so I can work with a political party, not on the front line, but on the background to develop policies and programs when this particular party forms a government, they would bring that program in place to make impact in the lives of our people. So, I was like, I can do it. Like, I have research skills because my master's is in research. So I can look around the world, for example, Singapore, to see how did they eradicate poverty? How did they change? Like Singapore currently have the best healthcare in the world. That I can sit down there to see how they did it. The other day I was talking to one of my colleagues at university who is from Singapore, and he has done a master's in health policy. And now I'm talking to him to see if I can get data information from him to try and design something. If I design something, I propose to my party people, and they can decide if it's good enough. If they like it, they can put it in their manifesto for next presidential election, and they can sell that to the people. So I am in it for the people, not for myself.
But you're not yet a political animal.
Like I said, we'll see where it takes me. But right
You
now, I'm
you
just one
you
of
you
those
you are in
moderators.
the addiction. You are in the addiction process now. So you're not the animal yet. Anyway. Anyway.
Yeah, you never know. Barrow was a businessman who had no ambitions, but later now he said he's a political animal.
Well, he's entitled to it. I feel he's entitled to that.
Yeah, it is
If
right,
he can take it
definitely.
on, if he can take it on, um,
Yeah,
well,
he
fair
can,
play to
but
him.
he would get the heat as well, because he has to do the right thing.
Yeah. Okay. Eunice, now that we're into politics, recently, not very recently, we heard that you guys were trying to form your own political party. I'm just saying we heard, so we don't know how true it is, alleged. that you forming a political party, you, Dr. Cisse, the likes of Fatim Baji, and and others, And what happened to that? If it's true, what happened to that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, if you don't know, risk it. But
I'm not sure if Dr. Cisse has ambition, but if he does, I wish him the best. He is a good brother of mine. He wishes well for Gambia, and I wish him well as well.
mm, because I really have to go deep into that because as far as I know, people keep saying, I do have one ear out there. People keep saying, okay, Yunus Hydara is one of those people who want to, join in hands with other people to form that party. And from what I gathered, there are some documents that you still have that belongs to that party. Now, people are wondering, what are you going to do with those the policy documents that you have? So if you're telling me you know nothing about that, it's no point me going on with the four questions that I have based on that. So definitely you were not part of any group that was trying to form a party. Is that what you're telling me?
I've talked to a few individuals, many people who are kind of thinking of getting a political party set up. A few people tried to recruit me on LinkedIn. I've talked to few of them, but eventually I had to really back out because what I believe is right now we can. I don't think we need new political parties. We already have established political parties where we can join and try to make them better. But I think having a political party right now will face steep uphill battle, but I don't think there is a space for it in my own evaluation. So I would rather invest my energy and time in something that I believe will be consequential to the lives of the people. So with the observation I made, I decided to go with the party that I think has a potential to
Mm.
deliver what I want to offer to the Gambian people. So I I um, I know many people were disappointed with my choice. Some people thought they got me already. They think I'm one of them. But eventually, I decided to take this decision
Yeah.
at good faith, not really with malice or contempt with anyone. I just want, this is what I
Yeah.
want to do, and I have the right to do it.
Good. Yeah, we'll come to that. You have been known for being very critical, like you criticize, but in a good way, in a good way. And that's why maybe a lot of people are disappointed, in a good way. But you have never been known for being petty. And recently, people keep saying, "Okay, he's rubbing it on our face. He's very petty now. He's this, he's that, he's that. What's going on here?" And let's go into it. You have criticized UDP. You have been hard on them for a few years, I think. You have said so many stuff. I have even seen you say things or written things before criticizing Lawyer Dabo before. And all of a sudden, you do a U-turn joining UDP. What's going on here? What's going on? What
I
what
know.
what motivated you?
When
What is that
UDP,
click?
when UDP were in government, I was critical of the government because I see it as a UDP government. I see that everything's failing and what we fought for is not coming into fruition. And I was really, I don't understand the internal dynamics of what's happening, but what I can see by intuition from the outside, I blame UDP for many of the things and I've been criticizing them. I've been critical of them, and that is there. But really, it that started to dial down when they got out of government. When UDP got out of it, maybe it's my nature that I am a forgiving person. I don't hold grudges or things in me. That's definitely not me. So it can be that. But what I felt was when UDP got out of government, my takes gradually dialed down, and to some extent I stopped. If you go on my timeline, you know that going back 5 months, I really wasn't saying anything about UDP. I was making observations, and I read Jawara's book, Sadauda. He is my granddad. His brother from the same mom is my mom's dad. So I read his book, and that influenced me because a lot of things it brought into context, and the political history of Gambia, the struggle for independence, a lot of things that it brought into context with me. And my interaction with UDP people, UDP, for me, UDP is the most active political party that showed me that they really want me to be part of them. I say,
but since
but
when?
that has been going on since the change happened. That has been going on. But I couldn't
So am I
see
allowed to
myself
say?
voting. Huh?
So am I allowed to say what people are saying, that all right, you were just you were hiding things, but die hard you were a UDP, because people just don't get up one day and say I'm switching to,
No, but
a
I have
whatever.
always been affiliated with UDP. When I was in Gambia,
Yeah.
UDP is the only party I voted for. In the struggle, most of my friends are UDP. The people that I talk to, that I collaborate with in the struggle are UDP. But I had significant disagreement with them when we formed the coalition government, and that's when we went different ways. I was critical, even though they are still nice to me, trying to get me back. I cannot understand what they were doing, and I was like going hard at them. But like I said, when they got out, really, things dialed down from what they've done. I started to really forget them and to focus more on Barrow, because I believe he is the person I, as a Gambian citizen, have a contract with. He's the one we voted for, and he's the one we should really focus on. Regardless who influenced him to do what, it doesn't matter. He should stick with what the Gambian people voted him to do, regardless of who. So, like I said, I decided to join eventually. 4 months ago, I started to really drift towards them. I read their manifesto, I read other ones, and decided that my philosophy aligns with theirs. So this eventually, I decided to just declare it, because at that point it was basically a decision for me to either get out of politics completely or join the UDP. Those were my options, and I decided to join the UDP because I believe that's the useful route to take.
So it's nothing to do with being convinced to join UDP by friends and family, especially we saw you
Yeah,
with
it
Jacques Paul.
contributed. It
Okay.
contributed. Like I said, they've been after me. They're the political party who showed me that they want me more than any other political party. I will I will criticize them, but anytime I meet them, it's all jokes, it's all love. They'll call me, they'll talk to me, and to get me to understand things and join them. And they've been doing that continuously. And if I have start fair fundraising, most of the people who would jump in to help me raise funds are mostly, not all of them, but most of them are UDP people who really think it's a good cause. All that tells me I have some things in common with these people, even though I criticize them, but they won't hesitate to donate to the cause that I've initiated or help me for it to succeed. So UDP, the political party, is not the most perfect political party. Likewise, all other political parties, they all have their shortcomings. But I believe dissociating yourself from them is not the right way to do it. You can go in and contribute to make it better, and for them to realize their potential that would elevate quality of life of our people.
So, in other words, we are not going to see any inconsistent from you. You're going to stay with
No,
UDP.
I don't see. I wouldn't say I am a inconsistent person. It took a lot of consideration for me to do this switch. It took at least 4 months for me to really consider what I'm doing. But like I said, I go with my principles. When UDP got out of the government, I decided to give them a fresh chance and hope that the party will really get better and have proper policies and programs for the country. And when they do it, when they go in, they can implement these to help our people. But if they deviate from that, then definitely I would I would really consider where I would stand at that point. I'm
Okay.
not in for anything for myself, but as long as they're doing what they're supposed to do for my people, then I will stay with them.
Okay. You mentioned earlier on that a lot of people were disappointed because they thought they had you when they didn't even have the quarter of you. And what would you say? Isn't that being like, I don't know the best way to put it. It's like, did I say you're like a grasshopper? You hop from one place to another. And now, why would you think that UDP will trust you? Because they've seen you be all over the place. And what do you have to do for them to trust you?
Um,
Okay.
from the onset, when the when we have the change of government,
Mm.
at that time I should have joined a political party. I can look in which political party that I want to join,
But was it a
PDOIS.
must? Was it a must thing that you have to join a political party? Was it a must for
No,
you?
but if you want, it's a choice. But what I said was, I already gave my word to a particular political party that was coming up. And for all the nearly 3 years now, I didn't join a party.
Hang on a second. For a political
Most
party,
to
hang
do
on a
with
second,
that was
Eunice.
I was waiting for that. Huh?
I come in. Did you say a political party that was coming up? I asked you. You said no. And now you gave your word. So I'm happy that I'm being SFR here today.
So are you trying to be Ezafal at me
Oh,
today?
I'm not trying. I am SFR. I'm not trying. I am the lower lower version of SFR, the one that speaks Wolof and cannot even speak Wolof properly. Anyway, now
No, but
this is
that's it. I gave my word to a particular
yeah,
political
that's my
party, and
point, Eunice.
I
That's my point
stuck
that
with
I was.
my word for
Hang
until
on,
now.
hang on a
I
second.
didn't.
Hang on,
Huh?
hang on. That's the point here that I was trying to raise earlier. It's like the way people see it is like you have just you cross carpet and push those people under the bus, and it's like you took their ideas, took their policy, and make them believe that you are with them, and all of a sudden you just go from and to be honest with you, if I have someone like that joining my party, I'll find it hard to trust that person, thinking that okay, this
But
guy is going to,
trust, you build it.
yeah,
I don't expect them to trust me. They can because many of them have been affiliated with me for a long time.
and yeah,
But they know the type of person that I am. I believe I'm a very honest person.
mm,
What's in me is what you get from me.
mm,
And so, but with time, they can decide whether I'm someone that should be trusted or not. But I believe that my interests, the interests of my country, is what I strive towards, not to satisfy groups of people. Right now, when I decided to join UDP, a lot of people were disappointed. Some were mad. But to me, the amount of people that were happy for me were way more than
more, yeah,
the people. So you cannot satisfy everyone. If I join other people, these other people would think that I should have joined that. But at the end of the day, it's my constitutional right. If
mm,
we are all Democrats, we cannot blame each other for our actions. We should be
mhm.
tolerant to individuals. I have a constitutional right to join a party of my choice. and
Yes.
I don't need anyone to decide whether I should do it or not.
Yeah, I'll still go back to that because according to according to from where I got my information from, you are one of the people that really backed Dr. Cisse. One of the people that engineered that. One of the people that was like in the middle of it for Dr. Cisse and co to form a party because the borough government is not doing much. UDP, Wahinopi, and now all of a sudden you're with UDP. So how does that party? Let's not go into Dr. Cisse.
No.
That party that you gave your word to, how will they feel now, knowing that you were in the middle of things? Because I'm a Gambia that found out we all hear stuff. You are in the middle of things, and now you move to one of the biggest parties in the Gambia. Whether we like it or not, UDP is one of the biggest. Yes. So I mean,
For me, I believe that's where the potential lies. The UDP, they're the biggest party. They're very committed. And we've seen how they've intensified their effort in resource mobilization and their outreach to get people to join them. So, for my assessment, I believe that they're the way to go. Whoever is disappointed will eventually get over it, because I believe in my decision, and it's not because I've been erratic about it. It took many months of consideration and my own decision. This is what I came to this conclusion that I made, that to join the UDP. So whoever is forming a party or trying to get into the president, I wish them all well. But this is what I've decided, and I hope they would respect that.
mm. And I think people respect that because I was there, I saw it. It wasn't an explanatory. When you announced that you have moved, you want to be with UDP now, da, 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 and everybody was happy for you. Everybody, it's like I was like, oh, what? It's like it was the talk of the week. People will call people just to tell you that, guess hell, you know, say that I didn't UDP. And I'm like, so what? Yeah, lady, like that's what he wants.
I know
Let him be.
when I
So
made that announcement,
everybody was happy for you.
I turned my phone off and just threw it away. But I can feel the reaction was intense, and
Yeah.
even it caused me to feel sick. I was lying in bed. I couldn't even move properly. I was lying down.
But to be
I believe
honest,
that
I think,
I have
look,
broken many hearts, and I
but to be
have also made many people happy.
Yunus, to be honest, people took it so well. Everybody was happy for you because I mean, it shows like Gambians are ready for a little bit of change because acceptance is our problem. We just can't accept people's decisions, people's ideologies, people, we just can't accept people's opinions. And then when you came out, it changed a lot until recently we see, according to people, we see a new Yunus. For me, if I want to be honest with you, this Halifa thing that is trending right now, I personally, I'm not disappointed. I wouldn't say that, oh my God, I didn't see it coming or stuff like that, because I feel that because I've seen you in the past criticize a political party leader, and now you're with that party. So, and what really makes me angry about that is when, at that time, when I saw you criticizing Lawyer Dabo, I see people from other parties come to you and comment, yeah, you're right, Yunus. Yeah, Yunus, educate them. People were with you. And now they see Yunus Hydara come and say something about Halifa. Everybody's attacking you. I'm not saying it is right. I think you went over the board a little bit, though. That's how I feel. Because I was thinking, all right, I look up to Yunus Hydara. He's one of, these intelligent guys that I look up to with all his intelligence. I was thinking that if you are joining the party, you are going there to encourage meaningful debates, good discussion, and stuff like that, but not come out as being a petty person like we're seeing now. So come in there, because I really don't understand, and I don't see the reason why you went personal on Halifa. Can you explain a little bit?
Thank you very much. That's a good question. I need to comment on it. What I did today was definitely out of bound and out of character. I believe I have high regards and respect for Khalifa, for his patriotism and dedication to the national cause. I always say this, even during the struggle. So in that note, really, I am not perfect. I'm a human being. By my sincere apology to Khalifa and all those who are offended for what I said. It happened due to the heat of the moment. I have been I have been I have been avoiding, ignoring a lot of attacks on me from Khalifa camp, PDOIS. I responded to one which was not personal. Sani, I don't know, whoever wrote that, an article about me, my interview with What's on Gambia. They talked about the ideologies of these PDOIs that I didn't subscribe to. So I responded to that, but I didn't respond to any of these other things. But it was non-stop. It was coming. Some even extremists go to the extent of telling me that I am not Gambian. I should keep out of Gambian politics. I should focus on Mauritania, where I'm from. So I started to realize, like, for all that whole time, we used to say UDP is the one who talk like this, who do personal attacks, insulting people, and even telling them that they are not Gambian. But I'm seeing it from the same, this same camp is coming from the same camp. So to me, I was like, I was confused. I was like, these people also do this kind of thing. And actually, more people told me I'm not Gambian from PDOIS camp than UDP in the past. So really, I didn't come to that position that there's no difference in the behavior of these Gambian people. Whoever interest is threatened, they believe the approach is to go on your person, destroy your character, and make you irrelevant in the country. And I believe that's not fair. So due to that, I even have a thought that all the things that made me more committed to UDP, not because I've seen the same behavior in them, but I've also seen that all the things that I was accusing UDP of when they were in government, I have no evidence that these people wouldn't do the same if they had the same opportunity as the UDP. If the president was Khalifa and we had a PDOIS fundamental, the powerful PDOI force within our government. I don't know if the same, if we don't have evidence because obviously that didn't happen, but I've seen the same behavior amongst the two. So I cannot judge saying that they wouldn't do the same thing if they were in the coalition government. So for me, there's no difference. But I jumped.
Can I come in there?
Attack Khalifa, but knowing that Khalifa is innocent, but I did it to hurt them because I know how they feel about Khalifa. If I talk about them, it means nothing to them. But that's why it generated such emotions. But I believe that Khalifa is innocent in this whole thing, and I apologize to him.
Can I come in there? All right, it's
Yeah.
it's huge. It's you have become the bigger person by coming out here and apologize to people. I commend you for that, and I'm very happy that you did that because, like I said, I don't have a problem with what party that you go to and stuff like that. But I think you went a little bit overboard by attacking. And you, of all people, you are known in society as a pillar, whether we like it or not. There is one part that you are holding on tight, and people like if you come and ask people to jump. I don't know if you notice, people will jump because they really look up to you. So seeing that, today I saw people replying to your post, putting comments there, and I see people being very civilized. It's like all they did was write their disappointments. Some people, I was expecting them to really have a go at you and insult you and stuff, but they didn't because of the respect that they have for you. And I think that should put you to shame. Sorry to say that, because they didn't really come out on you like you expected. And what confuses me is, Yunus, what made you 100% sure that these are Khalifa's people? Because I have seen people from PPP, other parties, criticize you, say stuff about you, say a lot of stuff. Are you, let's see how to put this. Is it because you see PDOIS as a competition, or do you see them as one powerful party, or what? Because it looks like you picked on one 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 party to have a go on. Because a lot of people were having a go at you from different parties. Why PDOIS? Why PDOIS?
They're the ones. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
I know. Over the course of the time that I spent in the Gambian discourse, I'm able to know who is where. I know when I see someone in PDOIS or some so-called independent people who are just admirers of Khalifa, I'm able to tell. Many people are not PDOIs, but they like Khalifa. And they were also some of those who were participating in the ongoing attack on my person for the past, let's say, a week. So for me, if the majority belongs to this camp, that's where the attack goes. But like I said, it's out of bound and out of character. I've gone into the politics. I knew when I got there that people are now looking at me to see what type of Yunus will emerge. I told that to a few friends, but I don't even I'm not interested really to be in the front line of politics. I want to work on the background. But even if my opinion on social media, I'm gonna have a political opinion, it will be objective. It will be based on substance, not the person. I don't like personal attacks, but it's just that I was just having enough from PDOIS, and I want to hurt them as well. And I think the best way to hurt them is to attack someone that they really admire. If I hurt them, that person, they would feel the pain as well. But that person is innocent in this regard, and I apologize to him.
I'm sure PDOIS people will accept the apology. And as you know, Bakariba was supposed to come on board, and he's going to come on board a little bit later. We're almost running out of time. Bakari, if you're there, you can come in. And all right. Knowledge is very expensive, as far as I'm concerned. I think knowledge is very expensive, more expensive than even intelligence. Someone being very intelligent, because you can be very intelligent and you have no common sense, and knowledge is just zero. And you question Khalifa's, you really question Khalifa about like his experience and all that. Where is that still part of you trying to hurt people in PDOIS, or what? Because that I refuse to take. In a way, I cannot take your answer as a full answer, because I am. It looks like to me it's just an excuse, because you went deep. You went as far as talking about how he hasn't hold a job, and we all know he has hold a job in the Gambia, and other stuff. And to be honest with you, if he didn't have the knowledge that he had, do you think ECOWAS will want to even recommend him in anything whatsoever? Do you think his stand in the parliament would be relevant? Come on, Yunus, help us there, help us understand, because I still don't get it. And
what happened was with the ongoing attack, I've seen someone within PDOIS who I have good regard for made a post ridiculing the fact that I joined UDP recently, and they got me. It was implying it. They didn't directly mention it, but I know he was talking about me. That I went to UDP Congress and they automatically gave me the high chair, and I'm gonna be. So they give him privilege to people who are educated They have certificate probably with no job, with no experience in their field, but they come in and go straight ahead in front of people who have really worked hard for the party, and so many different things. And this particular person was recommending that they don't want to vilify knowledge, but people who have decades of experience in their field should be ones who should be leading political parties. For like you are not in the UDP in the first place, so why are you bothered what the party does? UDP didn't give me like a high chair table in the first, but they probably seen value in me. They probably think Yunus has a political clout.
But Eunice, people are saying that you're trying so hard to belong. You're trying so hard to fit in. And can you hear me,
No,
Eunice?
I'm not trying hard to fit in. Like I went to Paris. It coincided. UDP's Paris Congress coincided with my plan to go to Paris. Like for my job, I cannot. I have to when I'm applying holidays. I have to give 28 days notice to my work. And 2 weeks ago, I didn't know UDP had a Congress, but I've applied to have a week of this to relax because I was tired. So I decided to go and see my friends in Paris, and that's when I then realized. I think I spoke to Dabo, and they told me about the Paris Congress. I said, okay, I'm coming there anyway, so I'll be part of it. And Dabo really loved that I'm coming. And within that region, within that time, the Paris people were notified that Yunus is coming. It started to the news started to flow in their forums and on social media. So if I'm saying I'm going to go to Paris and people make that a big deal, that doesn't mean for me trying to fit in. I went there. The guy said, you're going to sit at the front top high table. I was like, no, I am used to sitting at the back.
I would have sat there. Listen, I would have sat there. If they invite you to do, what is the problem?
During the struggle, when Barrow won and we went to Gambia, Barrow invited folks in the diaspora. I can feel entitled to say, oh, I was one of the key members in the struggle. I should sit at the front, just right opposite Barrow. But I sat at the back. I don't mind.
I was there.
As long as my work, it's basically my work that is talking for me, not me as a person. I went there humble. I had my nice suit. I went there and I was appreciated, and people liked me. And the organizers have already got a chair for me at the high table. And I sat. They allowed me to give a speech. But the thing is, UDP, they're happy that I joined them. And whatever I say at this moment, I think is a honeymoon period. Whatever I say, when I post a photo, it gets a lot of shares, so it's on everyone's face because they're sharing everything I say. But I believe those would dial down, and I'll become any ordinary member of the party, someone who has a voice, and I talk just like any of them.
But do you think your action, Yunus, before Bakari comes in, don't you think your actions, it's scaring people? A lot of people are a bit scared. I've seen people writing stuff like, okay, it's things like this. That's why people don't want to join UDP because you guys are
no, but people are basically.
Yeah, can I just finish? Can I just finish? You guys are ignorant. You're big-headed. I mean, you are this, you are that, you are that. You coming going for personal attacks and stuff like that. Do you think that will like if someone wanted to join UDP? Do you think that will bring them forward? Will it push them back, push them away? Because this is what people think of you guys all the time.
My behavior has nothing to do with UDP wanting me to.
This is where I want you to come in.
Yes. And I will tell you, before I joined the UDP, this is my opinion about the party militants. But guess what? When I joined the party, I saw PDOIS people behaving exactly the same way, attacking me.
But so two rights doesn't make it wrong. We expect you to come and change the narrative.
Where you belong. If you, Fatmata Koka, come to UDP, they would attack you vigorously because they probably think you belong to them. And this is where they do it. UDP done it when I was not with them, but then I went to them. They're also doing it. So to stereotype UDP as a party that attacks people, I no longer believe that. I used to believe it, but I no longer do, because I've seen people being attacking them, unfairly treating them, including myself. What I did has nothing to do with the party. People were thinking to see that Yunus joined these people, he will become one of them and act the same as them. I am one of the most reasonable person you would meet. I respect people. What I would do in the interest of my country is to have a healthy debate with everyone on the national interest, based on facts and substance. Personal attack, like I said, the first time I did, but because I was having enough from people who I think know better. So today everyone was saying, "Oh, we expect you to know better," but they are the same people who should have known better, because they were seeing these people
But
attacking
you
me.
can't
And
fight
they
with
never said a
everyone on
word.
social media. You can't fight with everyone on social media. And I think you're a
But
new
I
baby
can
to that.
try.
Yeah,
I
hang on
can
a second.
try.
I think you're a new baby to this party,
I
right?
can
And
try.
we're expecting you.
Because the
Like
thing
I
is,
said,
these
hang on a
people don't
second.
know.
Yeah, hang on a
These
second.
people
We
don't
were
know.
expecting you.
I enjoy these fights.
I know you enjoy these fights, but we were expecting you to come and change the narrative a little bit, because we know the
But I
likes of.
cannot do that in one day. I
Hang
can't do
on.
it in one day.
Yeah,
If
I
I
know we
come,
can't.
your guys don't want to leave me alone. I have every right to also fight back, and that's what I did.
That's
I
right.
struck I
Mm,
struck at where it hurts the
mm.
most,
Okay. Yeah,
and
so
hurt.
like I said, you know where I stand on this. I said, like I said earlier, if people are following, please follow start from the beginning. For me, it doesn't really bother me what you have done or what you haven't done. It's just a personal attack. I don't really, that's not the Yunus Hydara that I know. I didn't expect that of you, and you have apologized. We can move on from it. But all I'm saying is, you can't fight with everybody. What we want you to do is, you have joined this beautiful party, this one of the biggest party in the Gambia, to my understanding. Why don't you come and display the party agenda, policies, you know,
I will do that.
discuss it. Yeah, I think
I will
you
do that.
just ignore, because whether you like it or not, people will talk. I don't think it's in your place to come out here and fight with everybody. You can't do that. But anyway,
And
give us
sometimes I can do it just for fun.
for fun. Okay, Bakari, welcome on board, Bakari, welcome.
Thank you, Fatimata. Greetings to our newest UDP militant. Congratulations, all the best.
Thank you, my brother.
Since the inception, and I just want to applaud both of you for a brilliant program to start with. Yunus is someone I have high regards for, and I respect him very well. We have minimum interaction, but always is beautiful, and he's did a lot, and I'm sure he's got a lot to offer, not just to the youth, but to the Gambia. Into the program at the beginning, this is the kind of Yunus we want, someone that can go onto the table. Because look, I mean, it's his democratic right. People like I'm a Democrat, I would never criticize or have issues with him joining the UDP. I mean, I am a PDOIS supporter, and to be honest, we are not threatened, or the genuine UDP members are not threatened with the likes of Yunus joining UDP, because at the end of the day, like he said in his first post, it should be about national interest. And if we've got talented and smart brothers like Yunus joining the UDP, that's a plus for me, because he brings something different to the table, and I applaud that. We should all get involved in politics, and what we should try to achieve is the politics that would prosper our country, not the things that we tend to see in social media. And I did congratulate him. He did some posts, and I am the type that would not attack people. And I think my brother loves Ebe too much. I think they hooked him up through the Ebe, so he should have stayed from the yellow Ebe. But regardless of the joke,
Evermore, anyone can get me with ever.
Yunus, I think I should have thought that the UDP have something in their Ebes you should
But Bakari, what part of
yeah.
what Yunus wrote is really getting to you people. What part? Because we have seen Yunus. To be honest, if I want to be honest with you, like I said, in a way, I kind of think people are being hypocritical a little bit because I have said this in the beginning of the video. So whoever wants to go back to it and watch it, fine. I think people are really taking this a little bit overboard and being a little bit hypocritical about this because we have seen Yunus criticize other political party leaders before, said so many bad stuff, so many stuff against them.
Yeah.
You understand? And I have seen people from PDOIS, people from PPP, people from other parties go onto people's Yunus's post to say, oh, that's when Yunus was criticizing UDP. People went there to say, Yunus, educate them. Yunus, Yunus, tell them the truth and stuff like that. And now Yunus is criticizing another political party leader. Everybody is jumping on him. So I really want to know what is going on here.
Thank you very much.
It's not, I would understand if it's the PDOIS folk, but this is mostly coming from so-called independent folks who believe that they are independent, but they're the ones who are acting like that. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Bakari.
Thank you. I mean, look, I've been friends with Yunus for a while, and I do follow him. I've seen what he wrote before, but sometimes in life and in politics, it's all about the timing, so about the situation. When Yunus make, but we got to remember at that time, Yunus was an independent individual. He wasn't associated to any party. So when he made comments about the UDP and the Barrow-led UDP government, we got to remember Yunus was an independent guy. Yeah? Now, what is so consequential about this and the timing is we've seen Yunus join the UDP recently, and this is where I have it. Yeah, it's about the timing because time and time again, when a genuine individual joined the UDP, their coronation or their induction is that persons tend to bash Khalifa to be roll out the yellow carpet. Yunus might not have that intention, but the timing here to suggest that's what happened here because Yunus have never attacked Khalifa before. We've seen Yunus poses how high regard for Khalifa, and I'm applauding him for acknowledging that, and his apology also accepted. So the timing of him joining UDP and him making post, it's like the likes of us are like, bingo, this is what we tend to expect. And I told 2016, I've got a lot of family members and friends that are UDP. I speak to them on a regular basis. We debate, we fight, we challenge and all that, but it doesn't filter to the public space. But I can name prominent Gambian individuals that joined the UDP, and immediately they joined the UDP, their next move would be to attack on Khalifa. And I think that's unfortunate. And I think that's where the likes of me were disappointed in Brother Yunus, because I expected Brother Yunus would come and talk about the policies of UDP. We engage each other. Look, as a country, we can agree on all things, but there is certain that the UDP, PDOIS can work together. And right now, I believe, in fact, UDP and PDOIS having a wage, that's an advantage to an opponent which we both are fighting to get rid of, which is Barrow. So there is certain things that the UDP and PDOIS can work together on. And what we're going to try and avoid is create a wage where that we cannot even see an eye to eye, or we can't work in certain to our own good. And that's where I was disappointed a little bit. I'm not going to say it differently. I was disappointed with that post because questioning Khalifa's education, you can be educated, yeah, but that doesn't make you smart. That doesn't make you confident. And sorry to say this, we got a lot of educated fools in the Gambia. And for Brother Yunus to use Khalifa's degree as a 50-year-old qualification, I think he himself would acknowledge, reflecting back on that, that was a bad choice. And the other thing, look, if anybody attack Yunus and he's a PDOIS member, I'll be the first person to go and challenge that part, because that's not what I stand for. The very individual who said these things that were very unpleasant to Yunus is someone that we've called out to Yunus already, and we've already pointed out to Yunus, this guy is in PDOIS. So for us, yes, I'm not saying we don't have bad elements with the PDOIS in any party there is, but we tend to try so hard in our politics, in our engagement, people to keep it polite, to keep it professional, and this is what we want Yunus to bring into the table because he's a brother. I have utmost respect for him. Lots of us in the PDOIS have utmost respect. Him joining the UDP doesn't make us enemy. We can continue working things that together, and that's how it should be.
Okay,
But he's
Bakri, yeah. But do you think it is fair that one Yunus Hydara, just one Yunus Hydara, I can tell you, we think everybody knows Yunus Hydara. Everybody don't know Yunus Hydara. It's not like the whole 2 million people in the Gambia know Yunus Hydara. So do you think one Yunus Hydara wrote something, yeah, and people should take it out on the whole UDP? Do you think it is right that one person says something and a party is everybody is like coming after the party now? Do you think it is fair? It's not only on Yunus, but I'm talking about all parties. Like if I was in UDP and I come and write something stupid or come onto a Facebook live that is stupid, why can't people deal with me individually rather than fight with the whole party?
it's unfortunate and is to grow and mature out of them with the whole group or the whole party. Like I said, in any party it has some rock elements that people can do certain even against the party. I mean, but have acknowledged himself here. He reacted to provocation, and the past is hyper, and that was on. I'm glad he did apologize. I'm not saying we don't have elements within the PDOIS, but it is very limited. Also, the Yunus did was something that we've seen before. I'm not saying all the UDP are like that. Like I said, I've got friends who talk to regular, yeah, and it's unfair. Every Gambian tend to say that everybody in the view is like that. They are not like that. I even have utmost respect for Uncle Hussein. In fact, in their Manchester Congress, I was invited, but somehow not too sure. He had a live program with Jarai, and Jarai dissed me in front of him. And he said, Bakari, Bari Inyantanalanu. I swear I nearly jumped on the next train out of respect for the man and what he did for the country to go to the. So for me, he's an educated man. He's did a lot for the Gambia. There's a lot of party members in the UDP that did a lot in the Gambia. There is things that we can definitely work with, but all parties also have that we can definitely put at, especially now at junctions in the Gambia. It's very important we put our hands together and work.
Okay. Yunus, a little while back, you mentioned that it got to you. You were angry at some point, and then you touched on someone that you know that when you touch Khalifa, everybody is going to jump on your throat. And but do you think that was a wise thing to do? And if yesterday was today, would you do the same thing? Do you think there is a room for you growing up, like from being angry and doing stuff? Like, do you want to tell me? Because now that you're in UDP, you're going to get a lot of people throwing chairs, a lot of people insulting you, a lot of stuff. Look, Uncle Hussein Udabo, he is insulted every day. That man is insulted every day. And anytime he comes in front of the cameras, he's smiling, he's talking to people, advising people, and all that. You have never seen one member of his family come out and retaliate so badly. Even if they have to come out, they are very civilized about it. We have seen the likes of Almami Fati. You have what's his name again? Sana Jawara is there. We have seen a lot of people there, but you don't see these people come out there insulting people or telling people stuff. So I want to know, what is the next step when you get angry again? When people push you to the limit, what are you going to do next?
Oh, like you said, everyone has a limit, breaking point.
Yeah.
That's the limit. I would try my best to avoid doing things like this in the future. especially directing it to someone who is absolutely innocent. But to me, fighting back at someone doesn't take into consideration the reason why they're doing it. If it's this time, I see that they are just doing it because a decision that I've made as a person, and that is not a genuine reason for them to constantly a whole week coming after me. So if I've done something, that can be criticized. They can say whatever they want. I would ignore it. I believe I have a thick skin, and I would ignore it. But if the reason I believe is just basically them just trying to abuse me for no reason, I would look for something else to do to them. It may not be Halifa next time, but I would really go after them in other ways that I believe
Yeah.
will get to them as well.
And I just want to ask: is is something playing with your head to the extent that you feel that, all right, look, listen to this to the end. You feel that, all right, let me be prepared. Let me be mentally prepared. Anybody who joins UDP, they're gonna insult you. Was it that moment you felt? Did you feel that, all right, they're having a go at me just because I'm with UDP now? So you prepare yourself and then you overdo it. Was that playing with you as well, or?
No, I've seen the whole thing as noise, and I was anticipating that to say that if I announce I'm a UDP, people will react in different ways. But I tuned out of it. But occasionally, I would get talked. I would see things, what that are being said to me, and eventually it gets to a point that I believe I cannot take it anymore. Even though I try to tune out of it to focus on what I believe is important, like meeting party members, party leaders, going on my holidays in Paris, having a good time. Those are what my focus was. I ignored this, but it kept coming, and it was, I've seen it as just an abuse directed at me for no reason other than me invoking a constitutional right.
Okay. And has anyone from UDP called you or tried to talk to you about the post?
Um,
Because
Actually,
I'm
many
sure if
many
Uncle Usainu
people.
Dabo, if Uncle Usainu Dabo is aware of it, he's gonna tell you off. I'm sure of that. 100%.
Actually, many people called me today and I've texted. All of them, what they told me was to stay away from this and focus on on issues,
Exactly.
including UDP people. Uncle Sidi Sane called me. He told me that some UDP members that I know and others who are not even UDP, but they believe that I should really be better than the way I did. And they all told me the same thing. The message was completely clean that I should not do this kind of politics.
Thank you. That was very good. We really wanted to hear that. Bakari, any more for Eunice? Because I think he gave me only 1 hour of his time, but I've kept him here for longer than that, and I really appreciate that. Anything else for him?
I think we can't keep Brother Yunus any longer. He needs to go and do some daddy duties after his Ebe has
I,
digested now.
I kept them here from the living room for an hour, but they're getting irritated.
Thank you very much, Yunus. Yunus, any advice for young politicians that want to come on board? Your experience throughout, like through these years, what can you give? What advice can you give back to?
I
Uh,
would tell all young people to be engaged, whether they want to be politicians or want to be just activists, but they should focus on holding government accountable, president, the ministers, the public officials that we have, to make sure that they stay on task, because us young people, we constitute a significant proportion of our demographics, and we are the ones, I would say, who put leaders in place.
mm,
We should not allow ourselves to be used in youth movement or by politicians who really doesn't care about our welfare. So young people, be engaged, hold your government accountable, and make sure your interest is at the forefront of
their desks, and they are executing that. Politicians, we have to keep accountable. If not, we are in this state because we ignored Yahya Jammeh. We were focusing more on football and other things, and Yahya Jammeh systematically entrenched himself to become a monster who killed our people, maimed our people, and plundered our country's resources that could have been put in the good use. Could you imagine if the 1 billion that Yahya Jammeh stole and the millions of euros and pounds was spent on our healthcare system or on agriculture? Gambia would probably be food self-sufficient. And so we all shared that blame because we were indifferent, and also our inaction to really hold our officials to account. So we won't make that mistakes now. We should all focus on what's going on in our country and have an opinion about it. Now that social media has given us all a voice, don't hesitate to express your dissatisfaction with the status quo, and what only that would really change it and make it better. So that's all I've got to say. Thank you.
You're not done yet. Wait, I was just asking you about those. You're not done yet.
Okay.
What do you want to say to the political party that you gave your award to before you crossed carpets to the Yellow Boys? What do you want to say to them?
I would say best of luck
Mm.
with their work. I know they're very committed people, and they want to change the country for the better. But I would also advise them to be astute with their approach and think if they believe that the course that they're on would probably wouldn't work due to the prevailing situations in that country. They should consider, like what I did, join a political party of their choice and try to make it better, work for policies and programs. And if they aspire to become a flag bearer, IEC has a policy that aim to enforce intra-party democracy. So if they want to be flag bearer, they just have to compete with other contestants. Just make sure you are the best candidate for leading the party, and people will give you the way. But it's democracy. There's no really in democracy. No one is really entitled to leadership. You have to work for it. You have to aim and aim at it and work hard for it. And if you are supposed to be a leader of a country, you will. So I just wish them all the best. I know some of them will be mad, some of them will be disappointed, but that is life. We all get disappointed sometimes. You get over it eventually. But for me, I'm UDP, and my aim now is to help UDP any way that I can and fight to install them in the next government.
Okay, having said what you just said, try to install them in the next government. I'll take it from there. This is your day. For me, it was your day with me, and it's your moment. Like now, what would you say, or what can you say to convince me or anyone that is watching to join the UDP?
I would first
Tell
of all tell
UDP to
you,
us. Sell it to me. You never know. I might join next week. So sell it to me. Bakari, the
UDP
last
is a
cross. Stop it.
party. UDP is a party that loves their own. You see how I got spoiled recently. So if you join, you would. All over social media, it will be Fatima Rahman Cook. Your pictures floating everywhere. People will treat you with love and admiration, and then you
So
will
you want
get
to
to
tell me
see.
people are, you have just offended me. So people are not treating me with love and
No, you
admiration
are
right
getting
now.
it, but you are getting it, but you will get it 10 times. And what you will get to see the other side of UDP, and honestly, you will see the other side of Lawyer Dawo. you'll know that these people are extremely nice and very friendly. You
I
would
know
see
that.
that. If they say talent to you, they would encourage you to propagate you through the party. They would stand by you through thick and thin as a party. The thing is, you see, sometimes if they see someone who's not one of them, some of them may perceive you as a potential enemy. So that can, but I see other party members doing the same thing. But once you are in the party, you only know that these people are very decent and reasonable people. And whatever you will contribute, you will have the chance to contribute. If you want to contribute in the policy program or structuring or anything, you would have people would listen to you, including Lawyer Dabo. You would speak to them anytime you want in advising. And when the season come Congress, you can vie for any executive position that you want to serve in. Like I said, it will go through a democratic process. People would vote to put you there, and if you're there, you execute. And you know your talent. They would do anything to harness your talent towards the party's objectives. So UDP is a great party. I used to be very cynical about them, and I used to criticize them a lot. But eventually, really, I've seen a different side of them that I really think is great.
Wow. My God, that is Yunus Hydara for you guys. And 4 months. And you got to know all of this in 4 months. Wow. Anyway, welcome to UDP and
I will
congratulations.
get
I
you
think we had
anyway.
it.
I will get both of you to UDP. Don't worry. I'm just settling down first. I'll come
And
after.
you know what? Give my word. Go and tell them that Fatma Komo wants to be UDP. Try and get me, because you made mention of something. I'm not really happy about that. If they don't see you as one of them.
Yeah, some people would perceive you as an enemy. They do that, but that is not them. Everyone else do that. APRC do it. GDC, PDOIS, they all do. Has she gone?
It's
Come on, brother.
okay. It's back.
I like your program, though. I think you are one of the most eloquent folks that I see on the TV. You're doing
Oh,
You see,
great. Keep it up.
coach me
no,
now.
no, thank you. Bye, Mahajan. Hey, UDP guys,
I,
we talk there. Bye, Mahajan. You know the fine,
you two
fine
are
boys are in
also,
UDP.
you two are my. I love you too, man. I'm calling you Padmaratham. Padmaratham. You have a you have a great personality. You
Thank
are
you.
beautiful and eloquent, and I would just say keep it up with the
Thank
great job.
Thank you. But you're not gonna push me away from what I want to say. Tell them to start seeing me as one of them. Because these people have been blocking me to interview Uncle Usainu Dabo for 3 years. Whenever I see Uncle Usainu, he tells me, Coca, what's happening? Why am I not on your platform? I'm like, Uncle, I don't understand. These people will not let me be close to you. What's going on here?
Don't
Please
worry,
allow me to be
don't
part
worry.
of this
I'll
plan. Oh
arrange
yeah.
that. Don't worry, I'll arrange that. I'll
You
arrange
better.
that for.
Anyway, thank you very much for coming on board. I really appreciate you being here, and thanks very much
Thank
for
you.
everything that you have said about me. And we are wishing you best of luck. And like I said, Gambians, I think we need to start thinking differently, change the mindset because everybody's entitled to their opinion, and you have to remember we've learned something. What I've learned from this is um, see things change every day. Today it can be yours, tomorrow it will be mine. There was a time it was yours, now it's his or mine. So we have to be very careful when we are being critical or insulting people because one day it will be there at your doorstep. So we have to be very careful how we play politics. It is very dirty. And us, the younger generation, I want to see myself as a very young person. Us, the younger generation, I think we can change this. And the only way we can change this is by criticizing constructively and not go personal because it will not take us anywhere. because all of a sudden, the way I see it, this thing that Yunus Hydara wrote nearly meant a lot for him because everybody saw Yunus as this good guy, this guy who's into this therapy, the doctor, all of that. And then one day, if he didn't come out here to explain himself and to apologize to people, we being very judgmental as Gambians, it would have been, it would have ended in a very, very, very bad way. And I think we have to be very careful. And Eunice, what have you learned from it? And um, how can we move on from this before you go?
Um, life is life is a continuous learning process. Hey, please. Life is a continuous learning process. You grow and you move on, you get better. And the best way to learn from something is to get the criticism of it. I always get feedback on everything that I do. And I do that a lot, even on social media. So all this will help me get better. But like I said, it's out of bound and out of character. So I've already known that before I done it. But still, I've seen that I've let many people down, including many people that I've heard that I have high regards for, and I wouldn't want to disappoint them again because that's not me, and they know that's not me. That's why they're disappointed. But which will be good. But I won't really back down to PDOIS or APRC or anyone. Anyone who come to me in any way, I would try to ignore. But if it gets to a point, I would really strike back. Sometimes I do that for fun and I enjoy it.
Do you think you're still in kindergarten? Bakari, whoa. Man, Yunus, you're like all of that. Yunus, Bakari, can you believe me? Yunus, the Malaka English from start to end. Oh, yeah, I am upgrade, I am upgrade,
Why is that
My
Angela
English
with a
level
fun
is
there?
heading high, oh.
That Angela with a fun there.
I'm gonna
I can
say,
listen to it all day long.
This
Bakari, let me say last take on this, and then we move on and then call it a night.
yeah,
And
I want
thank you, Bakari, for coming as well. Thank you.
to thank you for the opportunity. Also, thank you to Brother Yunus. This is Gambia. We can all learn from things. This 21st century, and we the young ones in the political space, what we need to be involved in these policies and programs. The new about the in the pettiness, things that can just wedge us apart. I'm glad knowledge his shortcoming. He's a human being. We are all human beings. We can all falter. I fully right to join the UDP. I don't have any issues about that because the more quality we get, the better. You see what happened before and who we end up with is with Barrow. If Yunus was there, probably would have been much more better. So Purman and many genuine PDOIS members, we are not threatening Yunus have joined UDP. We applaud that and we like that. More quality we have, and this is not just the P, NRP, MUI, APRC. We need to take charge and ownership. We the young ones and the likes of I don't want to younger ones. I am kind of like inspired, and we can do a lot. And when we do that, then Gambia benefits. Nobody else but Gambia benefits, and that's what we need to aspire to. Things that the fact issues we try and avoid it, and if issues happen, let's talk like family. We sort it out, and we just move on as a country. So I thank Yunus for coming out and talking and apologizing. And I also wish him well in UDP. But I just know one thing would not change. They were in government two ago. He was bashing them, so there is nothing telling me if their party win, things would change. I think Yunus belongs to the PDOIS. He's trying to find his way to his home. We will open the door. So, brother Yunus, if things doesn't work out, we will still get you back. Yeah.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Yes, before you go, I think Auntie Umi Angus want to come in and just say one or two things because she's been asking me that if she can join in. So Yunus, can you just hold it for 1 second? Let's see if we can get Auntie. Hello, Assalamu alaikum, Auntie Umi. Nanga can you guys hear Auntie Umi? Dégguñ la bu baax de Auntie Umi. Well, hold on a second, Auntie Umi. Can you guys hear? Can you? Wow, can you guys hear Auntie Umi? Bakari, can you?
Maybe you need to put your mic next to the phone so that you mun ko dégg through your mic.
Dama génne mic bi léegi sax. Waaw yow Auntie Umi yaa ma dégg waaye ñun ñoo la déggut fii bu baax acca.
Okay.
Wow. If you can speak a little bit louder, so they can hear you now, Auntie Umi, I think. And wàññil sa lifin bi Auntie Umi.
Waaw dama foogoon ne waaw.
Waaw acca léegi waxal ñu ngi laa dégg. We can hear you now. Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Mm.
I am planning it.
Auntie Umi, gars yi dégguñ la. May ma 1 minute rek ma jël speaker. Ma attach speaker to lii rek su ko defee gars yi déggal because dégguñ la and li nga dafa very important. Jatu, give me my lifin. Déggu leen woon dara de Bakary, ah?
Oh, nothing was coming through.
Yeah, no sound. I can. Okay. Thanks, Hamal. Sorry, it's my telephone. Bi léegi laa ko defaat on sa battery bi for flat on. I can see people sending messages, and Hamal wanted a lot of people wanted to call in. I really want to apologize for that because I didn't see the comments and I didn't see messages on through Messenger. Oh, he's a lovely daddy. Look at the UDP man. He's a lovely daddy. Oh, I apologize for that. Léegi laa def suma phone bi on. So let me just lift in speaker su ko defee ñu mën a dégg Auntie Umi. I don't know if it's from her end or our end. Gis nga ko? Bakary, maa ngi gis ñu ngi wax ne PDOIS dañoo am something in Germany. Can you tell us a little bit about it whilst we're waiting? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. We are having a PDOIS Congress in Hamburg, Germany on Saturday, the 19th. It's a fundraising gala dinner also. Halifa would be there. And also it's a chapter. So anyone who is in Germany is highly welcome. It's open to all Gambians because when Halifa is around, he doesn't just do party lines or he doesn't see PDOIS. So if anybody want to hear policies and programs and what Gambia needs for the future, then you are welcome to go and attend the PDOIS Congress in Hamburg, which is Saturday the 19th. PDOIS is everyone. We could have difference in policies and ideologies, but one thing about PDOIS leadership, they've been there for the Gambia for the last 30 years. They've always shown patriotism and they're always selfless when it comes to the Gambian cause. So everyone is welcome. It's open to all Gambians and also any members that are around there. Please go and contribute because, as you know, running a political party, it's not easy. They always like to do it the right way. So, everyone is invited and I'm sure there will be a lot of substantive things about the Gambia which will be discussed. Next election would be interesting, definitely. I think that's the monumental turning point for the Gambia, and it's very important all the credible and outstanding political parties get prepared for that. And who knows, there could be another coalition for PDOIS UDP. It's highly unlikely, but but yeah, the Congress is happening on Saturday. Unfortunately, I can't be there, but I would definitely join them in spirit and in any way I can, and everyone is invited to attend it. Bangi post.
Wa anti umi lay try ko waxal. Anti umi waxal ma dégga. Hello, anti umi. Anti umi. Wa anti umi ñu ngi laa dégga waxal ma dégga. Hello, anti umi. Wa ñu ngi laa dégga yaa ngi maa dégga. Auntie Umi, we can hear you. Hello? Hello? Okay, dafa mel ni Auntie Umi mu nekku di ñu dégga, so I really don't think xanaa ma bàyyi mu ñëwaat rek waxaat rek ñu seet ndax boobu nañ ko dégga. Okay, I think we have been sitting here for a very long time, so let me try one more time and see. We can was there connected. Sorry about that. We're almost there. Okay. I'm going to try to connect right the device. Why? No, Munin Kodega and hello, Auntie Umi. Man dama ko dee dégga waaye moom dafa mel ni moom a déggu génne naa speaker bi. Auntie Umi. Auntie Umi waxal rek dinañ la dégga. Hello, Auntie Umi. Waaw waxal waaw waxal waaw.
yaa ngi maa dégg.
Waaw maa ngi laa dégga waxal.
Well xaw ma fan laa dooroon waaye dama doon congratulate Yunus
Waaw.
Hydara for joining the UDP. Why suma waay la nag waaye I don't know su fekkee ne nekkuloo di ma dégg just wéebal maa ngi laa gis tamit.
We can hear you.
Okay. So why I'm not being agree with him when he said that everybody should join a political party. So buge hamga puti bale sadika. Man duma join political party because I don't trust any of the ones that are on the ground. Because maybe Yunus, you're still young. While I lived for a long time to know what politicians are capable of doing. Man, I want to see the new breed of politicians, as I said earlier today, people who are steadfast in what they do and not the old, same old, same old. I'm happy that you joined UDP. Things are changing. The young ones will be able to put their stamp on all these political parties you are joining. But for me, I'm an old cow, so I would just try to do what I can for the Gambians because I don't believe in any political party. If you tell your agenda to me and I believe in what you are saying and I trust that you will do it, I will go and vote. If I tell you guys, man vote musuma vote sitani because in fact I left Gambia before your year. Why I voted, of course, during the PPP regime. Why I go for people I know because because I was young OJ, because that OJ was dynamic and all that. So I was so into politics, but I supporting the the PPP, of course. While Legi, after Yaya Jammeh, I saw all what transpired in the Gambia, all what Nakala Mimi Toge said, and man, I don't believe in any politician anymore. So, but it is good. I encourage you young ones to go and join political parties and try to put your mark on it. Try to help them evolve. Try to help them leave the old things that they do and evolve. Because technology is fast going and Lune can get change. A lot of educated people and all that. So I guess maybe you guys would do well. Why, man? What I'm trying to do for my country, I try to help the needy. I try as best as I can. When I get my salary, half of it goes to the needy. While, as you guys know, we have this organization, PDHI, and we are trying by all means. I am not in any political party, but I contribute in my own little measure to the GDHI organization, so that we'll be able to help the health system in Gambia. You can be on your own and be independent and still help your country. Don't think that if you are in no party, you cannot help your country. Ingen mun alba nolale nal mantara party kon alte la Gambia makoy no ale mol makoy. You can come with your ideas, and all that. So that's my take, and I would urge you, the young ones, to stop the insult on Facebook, on the social media. They all are insulting the party leaders. The party leaders don't insult you guys back. It's the followers that don't know how to stop policy. That's who come out to insult, because they don't know how to engage. So I would urge you guys, you young ones, educated ones, to, if you see somebody go on Facebook and insult our political leaders or insult somebody else, can you go and talk some sense? Because I did that several times. I text them, go to Messenger, text them, say, you shouldn't have said this, you should have said it, and most of the time I get good response. They go back, they apologize, or they remove their post. So I think we should go ahead and try to show maturity in our dealings on social media.
And
because people, the young ones are growing up, our children are growing up, they shouldn't be misbehaving like that. That wouldn't get us anywhere. So if you want to join a political party, congratulate anybody who joins a political party. I always congratulate them, because I have so much confidence in them, and I trust them that when they go, they will do the right thing. So I urge you guys to help us on the social media side of it. Rahman Koka, you're doing a wonderful job. Help us, let us make social media very civil, talk and respect each other, and try to avoid the personal attacks. Khalifa, yes, Khalifa is very experienced. So also all the other politicians that we're seeing today, Hussein Udabo, Khalifa Salah, Ugoje Diallo, they are all effective politicians. Khalifa has been there forever. So also it was OJ and Hussein Udabo. So if you want to say something about it, you are mistaken. And Khalifa is a very man and very level-headed. I have my encounter with all of them. Hussein Udabo helped me. In 1981, we had that college. Sorry, Rahman Cook, I'm taking all your...
No, it's fine. We needed this.
It's fine. Demonstration at the Gambia College. And we got arrested. I was arrested and thrown in jail in what you call it, the little cell. Yes. And then when we went to court, all of us Gambia College students who were arrested, Hussein Dabo, lawyer Dabo came to take our case pro bono. You see, that's how Gambians are. We always have loved each other. So that's why I always tell the young ones, let us be very careful and mindful in what we do. We all know each other. So thank you. I am sorry for taking all this time.
It's okay.
I would just urge you guys to be more civil to each other. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you,
Rahman Cook, for giving me this platform. Yunus Hydara, I hope you'll continue to be the best that we always know.
Thank you, Auntie Umi. Thank you so much. It's an honor having you on board because you're one person that don't usually come on social media to talk to people. So having you on board, it's really an honor for me. Thank you so much, and that was a good advice for. I wouldn't say for just Yunus Hydara, but I think for all of us as youngsters. I want to see myself as a very young person. Yeah, noonu yàlla ma bindee noonu rek xam nga xale laa rek ci fi xale lay dox rek Bakary lii ëpp na jërëjëf mbokk yi yéen muy seetaan yëpp maa ngi leen a wax ne jërëjëf mën ngeen ko jël seen time yëpp toog di déglu programme bi di ko seetaan di wax Yunus Hydara jërëjëf ci ñëwam bi kontaan naa si torop Bakary yow itamit yaa ngi ci biir ak ñëpp ñu nga xam ne yéen a ngi comment amuñ fi kenn so far gisumay comment yi waaye li ma jot a gisagum because léegi laa taal suma téléphone yaagut gisuma kenn ku fa saaga wala ku fa xaste ñëpp we have been civilized about it and let's just keep it like that and I think that we all have learned something from this not only Yunus I think we all have learned something from it and we would be very careful all of us and comme ni ma ko dee waxee rek àddina daf dee dox dafa gudda tànka so nañu be very careful tey di nga ene sa morom bi ëllëg mu ñëw fëgg sa bunti kër bi doo xam noo dealing with the issue so let's just be very careful and respect each other après ñu try luñ mun ene wante jàmma te génne kiñaan suñ biir because suñ génnewut kiñaan rek mooy feebar bi nga xam ne moom boo ko génnewut seen biir rek dafa nekk lu nga xam ne luy law la pare dafa mën a yàq réew kon nag kon gis ngeen tey jotee nañ ba juboo ñu ni nekk ñun ñëpp problème la ma Yunus jox nag because dama am pour leen di expérience suma yaay tey kan mooy Yunus Hydara lan la fa waxoon ak la def moom yi gis nga kii soose la dégg tey Brikama la juddoo dégg na soose dégg na olof daf ko dee bañ a wat dafa fekk rek ne comme ni ma waxoon Ibrahima Niass rek Yunus Hydara moom buy làkk olof dafa naan hi Fatoumata, how are you? Nanga def nak man gej na la gis de. He's very lazy speaking Wolof. You know, you have to toughen it up, man. Asante gis na sa comment. Thank you very much. Yes, guy Halifa yi, Yunus, guy Halifa yi ñu ne balal nañ la jégal ne la ñu leen move forward. So amee dara ko defante ñoom defante ko ci face à face ñoom ak ñoom nga génne Khalifa si biir. Waa UDP yéen tamit ñu ne balal nañ waa Khalifa yi. So amee dara pour wax ak ñoom face à face lañ ko génne seen biir Mama Kandeh di tamit yónni nañ ma ñu ne ngeen bàyyi Kandeh so léegi nañ leen def debate bi nañ leen def xeex bi nañ leen def xulee bi ñu ni neen nañ leen génnee political party leader si biir affaire si kon ngeen xam ne Yunus Hydara génn fee jàngal nit ñi de taa yii gama graduate man mii sama bopp jëpp dig naa leen dajee ba beneen yoon kon au revoir
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.